Hi guys, so different video, different spot in my house. So if you hear a beeping or loud noise in the background, it's just the dryer. When it's done, it'll buzz or something, so don't get scared by that. So this video is a different video, and it's about the Freddie / Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And I never watched these on TV before. I never watched them on TV before I got the series. So when I got the series, I got the Jason series first. Like I said in my previous video. I don't have all of them, but I have some of them. And when I first got the Jason series, the Freddie series, Nightmare on Elm Street, I was like, oh, like, this is different, let me go watch it. And these were made, at probably like the same time, or sort of the same time, more or less, than the Jason movies were. And when I first watched these movies, I was like, oh, like, I have all of them, except for the last one, like the last newer one they have. And when I first watched those movies, I was like, oh, these movies are good, but the one thing I didn't like, and I probably mentioned this in my last video, was that the storylines never made a lot of sense to me. Like, I'd never understood why they made, Freddie's life, like, so weird. Like, the one, he was born in an insane asylum because his mom was like a nun or something that worked there. And in one movie, it said that the reason why he became like this, like, child molester, or whatever you want to call him, was because of his adopted daughter, like, started it first. And then there was another movie where, I think it was the newer ones, where it was about how, he went and he was like a teacher or something in a daycare or preschool, and he was like doing like weird stuff to those kids. I don't really know what he was, I forget. But the last movie in the Freddie series, which is the newer one that came out, I don't know, like 2009 sometime, was like the worst Freddie movie like ever, because the real guy who plays Freddie, the actual guy, he wasn't in that movie. And that movie was sort of weird in and out of itself, because I didn't understand why the people in that movie, they all grew up in they all went to the same, like, preschool, kindergarten, whatever, and they, like, completely forgot about it. And it was really weird, because it sort of had, like, the eeriness of a horror movie, but not really, because, you know, everything was fake, and you can tell that it really wasn't, like, supposed to be horror. It was supposed to be, like, you were supposed to feel bad for the kids in that movie. So I really don't think you should see the last movie, because the last movie, I think, is sort of like they reached, like, each newer movie they made of, like, Freddie and Jason and Mike Myers, I think, were supposed to be sort of like a rip-off of the first movies, and you can't beat the original. Like, no matter how many times you can remake a movie, like, they'll remake Jason and Freddie and Mike Myers like a trillion times in the future, and you can't beat the real ones, because you can fake it. I mean, you can fake lots of stuff, and you can see that everything is fake in horror movies now. Like, you can just see it's like green screened, fake, and it's like not actual horror like they had back in the days. But I don't really like Freddie a lot, and then we had this conversation before with some of my friends. I was like, I don't like Freddie a lot, because Freddie to me seems like, you know, you can make Freddie up. Like, you know, anybody who's, like, anything you hear about, like, crazy people, or, like, seen any, like, people go crazy in movies, you hear, like, oh, they get these, like, weird dreams where these guys are in their heads or something, like, yeah, doing stuff to them. I don't really know how to explain it. And it's like, people every day can make Freddie up. Like, the only way you can get him to, or even defeat him, is just take him out of the dream world and bring him into the real world in each movie. Like, that was, like, what they said in each movie. Like, we have to bring him into the real world so he doesn't have the home advantage in our dreams. And the one thing, though, I want to say in those movies is, like, it's really a scientific, like, question. Is can you really die in dreams? Like, you know, when you have a dream where, like, you're about to, like, go over a cliff, or somebody's about to, like, stab you or something, you wake up immediately. And I always think, like, you know, what if that actually happened? Like, what if we can prove that. I mean, not with, like, Freddie. Like, Freddie was, like, doesn't have anything to do with this. But it's, like, it's really weird because, you know, when you have a bad dream, you wake up from that immediately. Like, right before you're going to die in a dream, you wake up immediately from it. So I'm thinking maybe there's some sort of, like, thing to that. And with Freddie, the one thing I didn't like about Freddie was that, you know, he used his nightmarish ways to lure them into their stuff to make reality seem like fantasy. But with Jason didn't do that. You know, Jason used actual natural elements to kill people. You know, he used the water around him, he used his machete, he used his bare hands. He didn't have to talk. Like, when you don't have somebody that's scary in a movie, they don't have to talk to get their point across. And, you know, like, I forget what his name is, but it's the actor who plays Jason in some of the movies is Kane, I think. Something Kane, or his last name's Kane or something. He, I think, was the best Jason of them all, because he gave Jason that, like, burly, like, muscular, boxy sort of thing, and you really need that, because Jason needs to be more of that. Like, in the earlier versions of the movies, you can tell that Jason was just, like, he seemed like a dumb sort of person, like, nobody probably took him seriously, but when Kane came into the picture, he was better. Like, he gave Jason that man sort of serial killer monster-esque thing. And with Freddie was played by the same guy for, like, probably, I think, all of the movies except for the newer one that came out in, like, 2009. But, like, the thing with that was, like, he never changed it up. Like, he always he always just made them go into Dream World and kill them. And the one thing I like, though, in those movies is, you know, every girl that didn't die always came back in, like, every single movie. Like, the first one, the girl will be in it. I don't know what her name was. I haven't seen these in a while, so I have to reach up on it. But the one girl, the lead heroine, whatever you want to call it, she doesn't die in the movie. But then she dies in the second movie, and then a new one comes up. That's the one thing I like, is because then they all sort of connect together. Unlike some movies, like, when you remake those movies in 2009, like Jason, Freddie, Mike Myers, you don't have that connection, because there's, like, nothing to do. I mean, after a while, like, they stopped doing that, I think, in those movies. But yeah, like, I don't really like Freddie. Like, I don't know if it's because, you know, I like water stuff. Like, I like swimming and stuff like that, so I think of, like, Jason and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, but I don't like Freddie because, you know, Freddie just seems like more of, like, a wimp to me. Like, you could take him on probably more than you could take on, like, Jason or Mike Myers, stuff like that. So the Nightmare on Elm Street ones, they're really, really good, because you're just, like, you get scared, because you're just like, oh my god, like, I won't be able to sleep. Like, in those movies, they have to take, like, caffeine pills and the coffee and all these different kind of things to keep them up. But it's like, you can never, like, not sleep. Like, if you don't sleep, like, you could probably just die, probably. But, like, with Jason and everything, like, you know, you go in the water and you're like, oh my god, like, somebody could, like, pull you in, like Jason could. Like, it was, like, really weird. So when I first watched Jason, I thought of that. I'm like, you know, I don't care about, like, Nightmare on Elm Street, because, you know, Freddie, like, isn't real. But, like, I really don't like that, because, you know, like, you can go to the park or the lake or something and swim, and you're like, oh my god, like, when you're a little kid, you could be more terrified of that, because you're just like, oh my god, like, I'm waiting for Jason to, like, take me under and take him to wherever he lives and stuff like that. But, like, with Freddy, it's like, even if you did die in a dream, like, you know you can't die, because, you know, you have those dreams all the time. So you're like, I'll just wake up from it. So that's one of the things that Freddy really doesn't like. It's not really realistic to me, and sort of. So I don't know if this, like, video made any sense at all, but I hope you guys, like, watch. I think the moral of this vlog was you shouldn't watch Nightmare on Elm Street. I didn't really like it. I really don't like that series a lot. Like, I do like Jason. Jason's, like, the better, like, killer, I guess you could say. So I'll see you guys next time with another Halloween vlog.